Coming up on CityView, managing space invaders, how you can be deputized to help in that effort. Getting a first look at the city's boardwalk over the lake. Paying tribute to a fallen police officer at a ceremony in our nation's capital. Welcome to CityView. I'm your host, Carol Barish. Recently, the City of Austin's Auditor's Office drew 8 names from an applicant pool of 60 to serve on the first Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission that will draw Austin's City Council geographic boundaries. Those chosen include Magdalena Blanco, Mariano Diaz-Miranda, Rachel Ferris, William Hewitt, Carmen Yanez Pulido, Arthur Lopez, Ana Sainz, Maria Solis. This redistricting commission is charged with drawing the map to form the new 10 geographic city council districts. Once the 8 members are confirmed, its first order of business will be to select the remaining 6 members to complete the 14-member Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission. For meeting times and additional information about the 10-1 process, visit austintexas.gov/10-1. With rich blackland prairie in the east to the rolling hills of the Edwards Plateau in the west, Austin's diverse geography is home to thousands of plant and animal species. Unfortunately, not all of these organisms are beneficial. Austin's natural resources and economy are being degraded by invasive plants. We have developed an invasive species management plan, and now we need your help to implement it.
An invasive species, as we've defined in the Invasive Species Management Plan, is one that's non-native and one that causes harm, either economic or it could be environmental harm. And so we've identified 24 of the top invasive species to the Austin area. The plants come in a variety of ways. A lot of these are sold commercially for landscaping, so they're ones that are beautiful and people will recognize. They might have them in their front yard. So we've had several volunteers today say, I've got this in my yard. But what we want to do is provide them with alternatives to that so they could swap out that invasive plant for a native one that has more environmental benefits. The City of Austin was excited to receive a Cities of Service grant, which enabled us to fund 6 trainings.
So yeah, just trying to split into equal teams.
Volunteers are some of my favorite people and so inspiring because you do have these enthusiastic folks who are willing to come out on their Saturday, give up their time to learn about a species. And so they make change not just by coming out and helping us document what's happening on city-owned property, but they change what's happening in their own yards. And that's where you really see this multiply.
I thought I knew a lot about invasive species, and after attending I found out that I don't know very much at all. The great thing about this workshop is that we'll all be going out to the field this summer and working with scientists and really learning how these plants get where they are and the best way to remove them. It's not always just pulling them up, it's not always just poisoning them. So we hope to learn a better way of managing them and controlling them. I just find it interesting. I don't have a science background, I have an art background, so I think that it makes me feel a little smarter sometimes to be able to know this. And I just enjoy plants. I plant gardens, I have a ton of house plants. It's just something that I find extremely interesting.
And what about for the patch type?
We put polygon.
Okay.
And then common.
Cool.
Without them, this would be a daunting task. So we're very pleased to have all of that support from the community.
Become a citizen scientist by joining us for a hands-on workshop in early June. You'll spend time with environmental scientists in the field and get an official badge, plus an invasive plant field guide. For more information, visit austintexas.gov/invasive or call 512-974-2446. Viva Streets. Austin closed down almost 2 miles of East 6th Street to motor vehicles so that the people could enjoy the streets.
Well, I'm here in Austin just for the weekend to see if I want to move here and check out the bike culture and check out what's going on here. And I learned about Viva Streets on Facebook, and it sounded like a really cool event. I mean, New York is different from Austin, so this has a more mellow vibe, but there's still a lot of activity going on, and it's fun.
Event organizers estimate almost 24,000 people attended this year's event, and planning has started for the next event to happen this fall. More information about the mission of Viva Streets can be found at vivastreetsaustin.org. Event organizers welcome feedback from this May's event or thoughts about future events to occur within the city. Lend us an ear and we'll give you more corn. That was the first ever pun spoken at the O. Henry Pun-Off 36 years ago. You may be asking yourself, what is a pun? Take a listen.
I tried to just drive away, but when I reached into my pocket, I realized I'd lost my khakis. So I had to sneaker under the police car while nobody was looking, and then I jumpered onto a moving train coat.
There were 500 attendees to the 36th annual O. Henry Pun-Off World Championship, which took place in the backyard of the O. Henry Museum. Each of the 32 contestants competed in 2 events, the Punniest of Show and Punslingers, where they delivered their prepared material within 90 seconds and were judged on their use of puns.
I feel great. You know, the crowd is very supportive. They seem very interested in wordplay in general. My only regret is I don't think I completely grasped the distinction between puns and wordplay when I wrote my song. So I do wish I'd crammed a little more in. I think I could have probably gotten even a higher score, but I just wanted to come out here, compete, give my very best, and most importantly, enjoy this awesome event.
For more information about the Pun-Off, visit www.punoff.com. And now it's time for this week's City Council update.
Council approved a resolution directing the city manager to explore the feasibility of an interlocal agreement. It's with the administrators of Camp Maybury Garrison Command, and it would facilitate the use of Camp Maybury's grounds for public events previously held on city property. And it would determine whether or not the city can financially participate in moving some of the displaced events originally slated for Auditorium Shores. Auditorium Shores on Lady Bird Lake is a popular venue for special events such as festivals and concerts, and it will be receiving improvements and updates based on the Auditorium Shores master plan. The city hopes that developing an interlocal agreement with Camp Maybury will give these often long-standing events a temporary home throughout the revitalization of the park. The city conducted a public hearing to gather input on a proposed ordinance that would require all residential single-family and duplex construction in Austin to meet additional visitability standards to create a more accessible city. One of the 4 recommendations is to require that new dwelling units with habitable space on the first floor must be constructed with a bathroom or a half bath on the first story. Another is to require a no-step entry into these homes. All of these recommendations are intended to make it easier for persons with disabilities to find housing in Austin without having to remodel. And the City of Austin approved a resolution authorizing the city manager to submit to council fee waivers and in-kind assistance in an amount not to exceed $150,000 if Austin is selected by ESPN for the 2014, 2015, and 2016 Summer X Games. Additionally, the resolution allows the City of Austin to become the sponsoring municipality so that Circuit of the Americas can apply for an event trust fund funding with the state of Texas for this event. The X Games is the premier action sports competition and lifestyle event which hosts 200 elite athletes and incorporates cultural elements in style, film, and music directed towards a youth lifestyle. This measure would be an incentive for Austin to be further considered and possibly chosen when the choice is made in August. Should Austin ultimately be selected for the Summer X Games, staff would return to council with an itemized list of the associated fees and services for further council consideration. In all, council considered 117 items at its May 23rd meeting. Its next regularly scheduled meeting is June 6th. For CityView, I'm Larry Schooler.
In recognition of National Public Works Week, there was a media boat tour of the Boardwalk Trail project. The Boardwalk Trail is one of the city's most interesting and eagerly anticipated public works projects. The project will close a 1.1-mile gap in the trail from the east side of the Austin American Statesman Building to International Shores Park. Almost half of the route will be on land, and the remainder will be a boardwalk-type structure over water. When complete, the boardwalk will be an iconic link on the South Shore that connects the growing sections of Southeast Austin to downtown and increases opportunities for outdoor recreation. The project began construction on October 2012 and is expected to be completed by May 2014. In celebration of Bike to Work Day on May 17th, the City of Austin's bicycle program hosted a breakfast station and ribbon-cutting ceremony to commemorate the completion of bicycle improvements to Barton Springs Road. The public was invited to join in for refreshments, to hear remarks from city and county officials, and to participate in an inaugural ride on the city's newest cycle track. Barton Springs Road is a major east-west route in Austin that previously lacked accommodations for cyclists. The route now boasts a westbound off-street path and an eastbound widened buffered bicycle lane. Both are also called cycle tracks or green lanes and are meant to separate cyclists from vehicles for increased safety. The improvements were recently completed this spring, making the road a complete street to serve motor vehicle, pedestrian, and bicycle traffic. For more information about this project and the city's bicycle program, email pwdbicycle@austintexas.gov or visit austintexas.gov/bicycle. The names of 321 officers who died in the line of duty were carved into the National Police Memorial in Washington, D.C. One of those names added was that of fallen Austin police officer Jaime Padron.
Jaime D. Padron,
who gave the ultimate sacrifice while responding to a call at Walmart in North Austin in April of last year. Family and friends of Jaime Padron were in Washington, D.C. for the ceremonies to honor not only him, but the other officers and families who have and who are dealing with the loss of loved ones. As Officer Padron's name was read from the list of officers who were lost this year in the line of duty, his 2 daughters and an Austin Police Honor Guard member placed a flower in a wreath, which was moved to the police memorial later in the day. President Obama spoke at this year's event, thanking the officers around the nation for the job that they do every day to protect the citizens of our nation. The Padron family says they are starting to come to terms with their loss with the help of others who have gone through similar situations.
What I've learned from all of this, especially this week, is that although my brother died, his love and his memories will never die. They're always going to be with us for our children, for his children, for our grandchildren, for his children's grandchildren, and so that's very important to us.
That's all for this edition of CityView. I'm your host, Carol Barish. Our next episode premieres Friday, June 14th. Thanks for watching.